Oh, there we go. It was just on the wrong source. Oops. I'll just double check, make sure I'm on. Got my separate computer here. Good for checking things, make sure tech is working, you know. Let's see here. That's not what I wanted. There we go. Go to my channel. Looks like somebody's on here. Yeah, it looks like I'm live. Okay, good. Let's make sure the auto's good. Yeah, I believe it is. I'm gonna wait for a few people to come in. Hopefully everyone's day is going good. Oh, there's only one person on here, so. My workshop is a mess. Let's put it that way. I kind of just let it go. I haven't really stopped to clean up anything, pick up, clean up the workshop. I got to do that pretty soon. I'll wait for some people to join. Make sure the audio is good too. Yep, audio is good too. Good. Cool. Anyone on? Looks like I got one person on. Cool. Awesome. Let me know how your Friday's going. What are your plans for the weekend? I'm actually going to maneuver a little bit in this workshop because I do need to clean some stuff. Got a test print here. Need to toss it in the garbage. I did a video on my pinball machine. So this was just a test print that failed miserably. Well, it worked, but it didn't fit the way I wanted it to. So time to toss it. I really need, you know what I really need is like maybe I need like a laptop holder. I could set it down, kind of this. I'm just going to set it on my printer for right now, like a regular LaserJet printer while I clean up this area because it's a hot mess. Just been busy with work and with a little bit of YouTube. And haven't been too busy like printing product. I haven't been getting too many orders, which is fine. No big deal. But I have been pretty busy with doing this prototype pinball machine, trying to build the chassis and get everything to work correctly as far as like the play field and this other stuff. So I was almost about to give up on a different section of it. I was going to give up and go to screws, but I kept persevering, and I was able to get it to do what I wanted it to do. So I feel good about that. So it's one of those things you got to persevere, All right, I get a lot of, I have a lot of these reels with like maybe 50 grams of material on it. I still use this for like little tiny parts, like this little cable keeper module, but they're just annoying to store. So it's like I got one here, I got another one over here, probably got like 10 of them, which only have like 20 or 30 grams. Like here's another one. Here's a little red filament with probably 20 grams of material. This one will fail in the AMS because it's all loose. You got to make sure it's like connected to your reel, or else it won't even load. But yeah, I got like, look, there's like 2 more over here. I hate wasting filament, but it's like a pain to deal with. But I should just print a bunch of these little modules with whatever is left on these reels and toss them. but I just haven't had time. It takes time to do anything, 3D printing or whatever it is you're doing. So, does that even go there? I don't even know. Sometimes I'm not even that organized. Looks like we got a few people on. So, let me grab my tea real quick. My kids have been doing a fair amount of 3D printing. They're, we just got back from San Diego. There was a zoo there, and they really got into the koala. So they're finding some koala 3D prints on their X maker that they're using. So, yeah, I need to find I've got so many bins here that are just not even organized. I really need to get organized with these things. But I just haven't gotten around to it. One of those things. Got rid of one reel. I use these little kind of snapware, and the ones I like that I use quite a bit are I think it's Easy Storage. They've got this here it is, waterproof 19-quart storage tub. And whenever I get new reels of filament, I'll throw the desiccant in there with this. But I've never had issues with filament with stringing, or I don't know what the other symptoms are if your filament has water in it, but I've just never had problems really with my filament and drying it. So I don't really concern myself with how much desiccant is in these. But I do try to store them at least in these. That way they won't absorb a ton of moisture. Better than nothing, I guess. So. But, I've been thinking about possibly getting a UV printer. I don't know if I will. The Ufamake something one, Ufamake One, I think is the company. They did like a Kickstarter a year or two ago, and it's like $2,500. But if I can move on this pinball thing, then it would be reason to get one to print like the artistic stuff on the playfield. What up, Ant Dog? How you doing, man? Friday night hangout. That's right, man. We're not at the club. This is the club in the workshop. How's the AI coding going for you, man? I know you're still working on AI stuff, AI coding. I was on with AI all day today, learning about how to push a solenoid with a MOSFET driver. And I think I found the board I'm going to use. And I'm going to use like what is it called? ESP32, I think, a little Arduino board to drive it. So pulse width modulation kind of stuff. I've never done it before, but I was working with AI trying to figure it all out because I'm trying to make this pinball machine. So I need a couple microcontrollers to do it. So yeah, just hanging out, How is it in Texas? I know you're in Texas, right? I think you are. It's pretty hot down there usually this time of year. Let's see here. Grab this. Got my caliper. They're always kind of running around if I start using them, but I haven't used them in a while, so I'm going to put them away. And it says it's pretty good between work and my personal projects. Got me beat this week. I got to rest up a bit this weekend. Yeah, I hear you, man. Especially if you're busy with work. You got stresses going on there. Enough brain drain and you are exhausted by Friday. That's for sure. Usually when my kids are in school, I'm more exhausted because I got to get up at 5:30 to get my daughter to school. But in the summer, I usually kind of crash till about 7 a.m., 7:30. And so I get a little more sleep in the summers, which I do enjoy. So I feel a bit more refreshed in the summers on a Friday. But during the school year, I'm beat by Friday. So yeah, this was I'll show you this pinball stuff. I mean, I've got the video coming out. I got a video coming out this Sunday, but I don't really mind putting out content on live streams because not everyone who watches live streams watches the videos, that kind of thing. So, like, I'm working on this cabinet of the pinball machine, and let me see what I can show you guys here. So, this cabinet, let me take this apart real quick and give you guys a little demo. This one, actually, no, let me take this one apart. There we go. The one that works. There we go. It works pretty well. I'm surprised at my own design capabilities. And it goes, yep, I'm in Houston. It's always hot and humid. Yeah. You guys got palm trees down there, which is nice. Hey, what's up, Barry? Early morning, so I can't hang out, but just want to pop in and say hi. Can't wait to see the pinball machine plans. Yeah, thanks, Barry. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, here's a little quick 200 millimeter print I did. Took about 9 hours. About 300 grams of filament. So this is one section of the chassis, and then I'm going to have a second section the same size, connect them together, that kind of thing. And then this failed print, well, it didn't fail, but it wasn't the right size, is supposed to go in here and snap to these, what do I call them, slotted male and female connectors. This one was too tight, so I kind of broke some of the connectors up here on top. But I'm still going to use this for kind of like just testing and all that. So this was a failed print, so I can pretty much just throw this thing away. Unfortunately, you know, that's how 3D printing goes. You get a lot of wasted plastic. But is that a server behind you, or is that a part of the 3D machine? No, yeah, this is just my rack mount server. I've just got a 24-port Netgear PoE router, a Synology NAS with 40 terabytes of drive space. I've got another old machine there and a couple other machines that my work is having me test with. So no, the 3D printers, Ant Dog, are right here. There's one, and then there's another one over there. So not running at the moment. I was busy doing prototyping early, and then I don't want to waste filament if I don't have anything new to model and print that I need to print. So I was showing, there's a video that's coming out. It kind of shows like this small subsection of a play field. I did kind of get the prototype working, but the sides here were like lifting up. They weren't attaching. So I had to redesign this model a bit. Not a lot, but just enough to where it was going to work. So what I was doing was, now I have this print, which is the play field. It goes right here, nice and smooth. And then I just slide it down, lock it in. And this is in there. Like, I don't even have to screw this down or anything. And then essentially I'm going to start with 100 millimeters here, and then a 200 millimeter play field piece. That'll both connect this chassis to the next chassis piece. And I do have an interlocking system here. So both chassis will still interlock together, but then this play field will act as like a double interlock between the two pieces. And the same thing for this is the shooter ramp here, or the launch ramp, I guess you could call it. Same technology, or, you know, model design. So this will go in here and then simply press it down and it's locked in. And then between the two, you've got where the ball is going to go through this, go from the play field over to the launch ramp, shoot back up. Again, I don't know if any of this stuff is finalized until I start to actually build this thing. See, these are just prototype, demo type stuff, you know, trying to experiment. So nice. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, the rack is pretty old. I've had this for like 4 years. I don't really have the need for anything else. I mean, maybe I could get like a server for maybe automating these machines if I had them printing all the time. So, hey, Steve, how you doing, man, from the UK? It's late there, isn't it? How's things going in your world? If I got into 3D printing myself, I'd be trying to print some memory chips or something. 3 a.m. Yeah, you're still up, man. Knocking things out, I bet. Hey, Brent, good evening. How are you doing, man? Did you have a good show today? I know you had a show today, Saturday and Sunday, right? Hopefully you made some money today, man. That's great that you're doing good in local shows. What was I going to say? So, Ant Dog, are you doing any investments, like anything new out there? Did you buy the SpaceX IPO? Just curious. I did not. I'm waiting for it to drop. No, thank you. I don't feel like going down 50%. It's not my style. You know that. So yeah, just picking up my workshop. It's been a while since I've done some organization here, you know. But yeah, I do have a fair amount of 3M screws that I did finally ship a wall plate using these 3M screws where I printed 2 parts for the wall plate. And I think it probably turned out pretty good for the customer. It looked really good. So they'd have to look at it real close to even notice the screws, to be honest. So changing it up a little bit, you know, it's always kind of like, do you want to change your product up? But for me, I want a safe product, and I want filament that is somewhat affordable. Let's put it that way. And the polycarbonate, this fire retardant polycarbonate, it's $32 a kilogram, but if I buy it in bulk, it's $22. So I can definitely make a profit at $22 a kilogram. Brent goes, the people setting it up screwed up the dates. Oh no. They sent out the email saying Friday and Saturday vendor show. Sent out an email last night saying it's Saturday and Sunday. Ah, gotcha. Yeah, you know, to me, when you said it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I kind of thought Friday was odd, you know, for a flea market type thing or a state fairgrounds. I thought Friday was odd for a time. Usually those things are always on weekends, you know. So yeah, it is what it is. You got the day off, right, for not going there. Spend tomorrow at 1 and Sunday to the one up north. Okay, well, yeah, you got 2 to go, and keep learning at those local shows. That's where you learn if your product is the right fit for that show, and if you need to make any design changes. It sounds like from the email you sent me, you're getting more custom requests, which so this time don't forget to bring your, what was it? You forgot to get their number, or you forgot to give them your card. I can't remember what you said in the email, but make sure you get contact information, both you to them and them to you, kind of thing. So get all the QR codes to your business or Facebook or whatever, however you want to communicate, you know. So yeah. But yeah, this I'm pretty happy with this print. This is just real cheap Ender PLA black, and it looks nice, feels nice. And I haven't printed much in PLA, to be honest. And this is kind of how the 2 parts will, in theory, connect. See how there's that little slide type of system going? So this is just a quick test. Sorry, it's kind of screechy. But I figured it's kind of fun to show people in the live stream. You know, the videos, not everyone goes to and watches live streams versus watches the videos. You know, it's just like there's different audiences for both. So, and this was just a quick test print. I wanted to make sure I didn't need supports for this arch. And this is for, here, I'll show this again. If I can get this undone. It's so tight that, not so tight, but it's pretty tight to where even it takes some force for me to get this play field off. That way, I know it's going to hold up in production. So this little center support here, right here, I want to be able to trace wires back and forth for electronics for this pinball machine. And so I was testing this little print because I'm going to do one here, 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 and here. So 4 holes, fairly large size. You could fit an HDMI cable directly through this thing. Not that I'm going to need an HDMI cable, but regardless, I can fit pretty thick cables through this. And then I think I'm going to actually, I'm going to actually put the same 4 holes on this wall as well. It'll use up less filament on this big piece because you're cutting out a decent amount of filament, but it's structurally really strong. I mean, I can't even bust this myself, so I'm not even concerned about strength. So let's see here. Brent goes, lots of people are interested in custom parts. I give them business cards with Facebook and Etsy QR codes on the back. Yeah, perfect. And plus, if they have your Etsy, they can always message you on Etsy for questions. I had a customer give me a request, which they didn't order, by the way, of course. I don't know if I have the print. Let me see here. I might. I thought I printed it somewhere because I took a photo of it. Maybe I threw it out. I don't always keep everything that's not of value. Anyways, I basically, I'm surprised I don't have that print somewhere. Thought I had it, but anyways, so I took, let's see here. So I have these wall plates that have these grommets here, so you can, put a USB cord through here and charge your phone. These are really old models. The customer saw these on Etsy, but they wanted the one that has the full shelf and it kind of blocks here a big cord, essentially, if you had a fat brick. But they wanted this shelf with the grommet to hold the phone, like probably about right here. I kind of centered it. So I did do a quick model, place this in there. It fit perfectly fine. So I added it as an option in Etsy. I did a test print, made sure it worked. I took photos, and unfortunately, I didn't mention it, but I used Barry's website, Percentipede, I think it's called, to build just a quick photo and description of this feature. And I sent it to the client, and they didn't order yet. Maybe they will. We'll see what happens. So it's kind of cool that Barry, on our last live stream, he gave us his website to demo and check out, and it's free, completely free. He doesn't plan on charging for it. So yeah, it worked out pretty good. Quick and easy way to build a nice little, what do you call it? Photo of describing something, essentially. He designed it for Maker World, which I think is pretty cool, but it works for anything else. It could work for Etsy, product descriptions, feature descriptions. That's essentially what I was using it for. So yeah, it worked out good. So that was about the only work I did. I wonder if, in Etsy, I put my processing time to 7 to 9 days before I went to San Diego. And then I turned it back to like 1 or 2 days or whatever. But I wonder if that kind of messed things up with Etsy because I'm not getting as many sales. It's hard to say. I did increase price by $3 to cover for that fire retardant filament. But I did get 2 orders since I increased prices. So that's not a big deal. I don't know if that's really affecting things, but it's just a niche item, That's kind of why I'm like moving on to something more complex and interesting and maybe fun. And I'll talk about that too, probably in a future video. Brent goes, never hurts to have options on your products. That website is really cool. Yeah, it is. I agree. I think you did a good job on that website, and it's nice that he's sharing something for the community. So Barry's a good guy. And he was on a live stream with me with Chris from Off the Bench, and I was like saying, yeah, I got destroyed in the comments on one of my videos. And he was like, yeah, I didn't want to pile on. So I appreciated that, someone who's recognizing like, man, this guy's getting beat up in the comments. I don't need to pile on my opinion. And he was pretty much probably thinking the same thing the other people were like, I should ship a safer product, which I am now. So it's good. My bad, that kind of thing. But, this product, I don't know if I'm going to actually sell it. I have to produce something that is worthwhile. It's really hard to say if I can actually make a working pinball machine. There's lots to learn. But there's another guy who's been subscribed to me for a long time. His name is like Prop Dude Shop. And he might be on here. Who knows? Sometimes he joins the live streams. He does these movie prop 3D prints, and he sells them for like $300-ish, $250, $300. And I think the prints take probably 20 to 30 hours, and there is some assembly involved. Excuse me. And I feel like maybe that is a little bit better market for 3D printing because, one, it is niche. Two, it's a higher margin business. Three, it keeps your printers running for the value that you're trying to generate on your Etsy shop. So if you've got a product that, let's say, you can sell for $300 to $400, it's going to keep your printers busy. My problem is my printers aren't busy because I don't have enough sales. And I don't know, maybe it's the product itself, but I'm not going to lose hope. It is what it is. I tried something. It's kind of fun. And it's still selling here and there. So, and it's a good way to acquire new customers so that you can offer something in the future. And maybe they come back to your shop, they shop around, they find something new. Maybe they have interest for a pinball machine for their kids. Who knows? But I think a higher price item for 3D printing, at least online, is the way to go. Maybe for local shows like what you're doing, Brent. I think $300 is a lot harder to sell because, you probably do credit cards there, but not everyone's looking to spend $300 at a local market, I don't think. But maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? But as far as online goes, you get beat up on shipping. You ship $10, $20 orders. And plus, even if they pay for shipping, I mean, I'm still eating a little bit in different costs and things like that. So, yeah, I don't know. Selling online is not for the faint of heart. Let's put it that way. I got to work on more bundles. I just haven't spent the time to do that. So I got to work on more bundles, like I need a higher value online sale. Like average sale should be upwards of $35, $35 to $40. That's the sweet spot, I think, online. If you're at an average selling price per order of 20 to 25, it's really hard to feel any sort of level of success doing that. So, but for you, local shows, man, all the sales, there's no shipping, you have to pay for your table, right? The rest is in your pocket, just the cost of the filament, obviously. But yeah, Etsy, man, I'm just, paying for advertisements. That sucks. And that's the other thing too, like paying for these ads. I think I'm still like, I'm probably a little more than break even on Etsy. I think I've probably made $50 in $500 in sales, guys. Like that's the reality of e-commerce. So let's see here. What's Brett saying? I did do free shipping on orders 35 and more, but had to add $5 to my charger and battery wall mount. Oh yeah, for the price of the product. Yeah. Yeah, mine, I'm doing free shipping on 35. Like I said, if you can get to 35 to 40, at least you're netting around 30, right? Because if you do free shipping, you're at $7, $8 in shipping, and Etsy fees. If you're at $40, you're down to $30 profit per sale. I think that's a good healthy sale. It's just that 20 to 19, 18. I don't know, for all the shipping and packaging and driving it up to UPS or wherever you got to go. It's kind of a burden, unless I was doing it all day, every day, right? But it is what it is, I'm not going to complain. I'm having fun doing it. That's my problem. Like I said in the email, that my charger and battery wall mounts take 18 hours each. Yeah, but you're selling them. I mean, you're making inventory, you're selling them at the local shows. You think it's a problem, but I mean, are you really supply constrained? Are you running out of inventory at these shows, or are you printing just enough to print for the shows? I suspect you probably are. I mean, 18 hours for one of those, the $40 ones. So you can make 5 a week, right? You probably sell through 5 pretty quickly. Yeah, that is rough. 18 hours for one print, for one product. I mean, if you're selling through and you feel like you had lost opportunity sales, maybe you need a second printer, for that second 18 hours to print 2 a day, that kind of thing. I'm sure that right when one's done, you start the next one, I know how that goes. The shows I go to are flea markets mostly, so $300, yeah, $350 for a mask is hard to ask. Yeah, like the people selling 3D printed masks for $300. Yeah, that would probably not be an easy sale. You might get one sale per flea market or one sale per market that you go to. So everyone's looking for deals. Yeah, flea market for sure. Everyone's looking for deals, but I can see how your products, like, you stumble on it, you never seen it before. You're like, $20, $40. Yeah. Get the wallet out, get the credit card, get the 220s out, $40. You got yourself a little battery charger. People usually don't, see that as a burden. Anything over 100, that's when people second guess, like, do I really want to spend $100? That's why with this product, it needs to work. It's got to be fun. It's got to have a lot of cool stuff on it. This could take me a full year to probably design and build and test. But then, that's why I was thinking about a UV printer, is to print like really fancy artwork, maybe on the sides, maybe obviously probably on the play field, some sort of artwork that goes the whole length of the pinball machine. I'm definitely thinking of putting in a ESP32, like a Arduino board, where I can do audio, solenoids for the flippers, maybe other solenoids for the ball popper, I think they're called, or whatever, where the ball goes into a trap and you pop it out, that kind of thing. I'm trying to make it like as realistic of a full $6,000 pinball machine, but this one would be a plastic, smaller version that still had good gameplay, right? I mean, this is pretty cool. This, Lego space pinball machine. It's probably not going to play like a real pinball machine. It's got like one ramp here and a little couple turn things. But it does move, I think, the little space Lego man up to the space baby. That's the goal. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out after I build it. But again, it's got the artwork on the side. But I could thinking about theming the pinball machine that I make. Hey, maybe I could theme it with 3D printers, like the ball goes into the bamboo P2S kind of thing. I don't know about that. It would go over well with the 3D printing community. But I could theme it castle theme, space theme, similar to how Lego did their themes back in the 1980s. So pirate theme. ChatGPT gave me a bunch of other ideas too. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what colors I'm going to use. These are just some cheap filament I had, black and white kind of thing that I'm gonna work with. So Brent says, keeping inventory is hard to keep up with. Yeah, I have 2 different versions of the charger wall mount. So try to keep 6 to 8 each. Yeah, I think that's pretty reasonable. Yeah, I set alarms when they're done so I can start another. Yeah, exactly. So some of them probably don't take 18 hours. Maybe some are like 10. You probably have to have, what are you doing? Like 3 walls? What percentage infill are you using? Like 30%, something like that? It probably takes a decent amount of filament and time to do that. And what's the size of your products? Just curious. You know, I should pull up your Etsy site, because I thought I favorited your store. I just don't even know. Like, I don't know how to even navigate Etsy, the actual consumer side, because I don't use it. I only use it as a seller. Let me see here. Did I favorite? See, I should have favorited one of your items. I just didn't. And like I said, I can never find. Maybe let's see your shops. Oh, there's followed shops. See, why didn't I follow your shop? I don't know why. I think I just forgot to. Yeah, send me the shop again, and maybe I'll share it. Check it out. 4 walls. Wow. It barely fits on a 256 bed. Yeah, this, Brent, is exactly 256. And you really can't move it much in the slicer settings. If you move it like a smidge with the mouse, it definitely falls off. And so you got to recenter it. But I wanted to challenge myself and do the full 256. Yeah, let's see. I'll show you. Let's see here. Yeah, like, look, it's like barely. I can't believe this thing actually prints. We're talking like that is all there is on the edge. Now, fortunately, with PLA, you don't really need brim. I haven't had much warping issues with PLA. Every now and then I have seen PLA do it, but I could brim the corners on each side here. But so far, I just glue this bad boy up and get it nice and sticky. So seems to work fine. So, yeah, lots to work on. This is going to be fun, though. I'm going to have a lot to produce videos with, different ideas. It's always a struggle with YouTube trying to come up with different ideas. I mean, I could do like simple things like, oh, what's the first 3 things you should do? 3D printing, I guess. I already have one of those videos, but a lot of people do repeat videos that do well. I'm bad at that. I just don't want to repeat videos that do well. I probably should. But the channel's been going good. I mean, every day I'm getting like, I don't know, 20 or 10 to 20 subscribers. I think last month I got 300 subscribers. I've got like almost 10 videos that are, to me, going viral. Anything over 5,000 views is a viral video, and it just keeps going up and up and up to the right. So, I don't know. I just like having a variety. The pinball machine will be a big hit. You think so? Yeah, I don't know. You know, it's hard to say. I mean, I've seen like, you know, really cheap, light, you know, pinball machines. They may sell on like Amazon or something like that. Like you might buy for your kid at Walmart or something like that. But they're extremely cheap. Like just, you know, they're like 15, 20 bucks, that kind of thing. I'm not trying to sell something like that. I'm trying to make it as realistic as possible. It's going to be a challenge. Every part to this project is a challenge. Let's put it that way. Even just the flipper button itself on the side, just developing that is going to be its own challenge in itself. I don't want to buy components that I can print. That's the goal of the project. I mean, obviously for computer stuff, if I'm going to have a ESP32, you know, and electronic components. That's a different aspect to it. But I know software and I know how to talk to ChatGPT, so I'm sure I can figure that out. But if I can print it, even I was looking at side button flipper buttons on eBay. They're like $15. I don't want to spend $15 when I can print it for 20 cents, right? So I'm going to model everything myself. I just work with ChatGPT and what the sizes should kind of be, and look at standard sizes in the pinball industry. Obviously, like, it's a smaller version, but even the buttons, side buttons, should be the same size because they're designed for your finger. So yeah, it's gonna be fun to model all this stuff. I love modeling. I have no problem with it. I think that's that part, and the part where you do a test print and then you get it out and you're like, oh, this worked, it fit. So that's the part I like, is when it works. It's a little bit of a struggle when it doesn't work and you made a lot of model changes and it still doesn't work, and you're like, oh, I got to go back to the model, make a few more tweaks. I got to push. That's the key to any business, is go back, fix the minute details, make the model perfect as you can. I've went back to those dang wall plates more times than I anticipated. Let's put it that way. So, when you think you're done, you're not done. There's always something better you can make with your product. So that's the way I look at things. That's the way you got to be with code too. If you're writing software for a living, the minute you think your code's good, it works, it could probably be better. And there's probably something you're missing, something that you didn't test for, something that even the QA person didn't test for. There's always a way to make it more efficient, the code more efficient, et cetera, et cetera. It's the same with 3D printing. Every aspect to this I've been thinking about in my head. How do I make this with no supports, right? So far, this print has 0 supports, which I'm happy about. I hate supports. They're not fun. I don't mind taking them off sometimes, but it's just like more wasted filament. And it adds another step, at the end of the day. So Brent says, not just 3D printing, you'll have all the wiring, everything else. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, the 3D printing is just, making the parts. The other half to this is, okay, how do I design a fun, playable machine? How do I get the right components to do the electrical components? How do I theme it? That's going to be fun too, trying to figure out. Obviously, I'm going to be working with AI, trying to figure out how to, come up with a theme and generate some cool images. I could even put a screen in it. I mean, a lot of these modern pinball machines, they have screens where the scoreboard is. Maybe I might do that. Because the old mechanical ones, they flip like a little scoreboard, that kind of thing. But yeah, maybe like a little 7-inch screen. Maybe that might be the way to go. I might do that and just get a little $20 Raspberry Pi to control the flippers with this MOSFET controller board. You got to have this MOSFET thing to push a solenoid, but then you use a Raspberry Pi to send 3.3 volt PWM pulse width modulation signals to this solenoid controller thing. But if I did a Raspberry Pi, then I could get the 7-inch or 5-inch screen for the backplane. I mean, I know that would add cost, but I want to make this thing really cool, that kind of thing. ESP32, yeah, the Arduino board. I think I have a couple in my storage area, because I was working with a guy who was like a embedded engineer, and he was like, oh, just go order these 2 boards. I'm going to do this little project. I want you to have these boards. So I ordered them, and I didn't even know really what to do with them. So they're just sitting over there. I think I have 2 of them. They're only like 10 or 20 bucks or something like that, 10 or 11 bucks. So yeah, ESP32 or Raspberry Pi, depending on, again, can I control a display with a ESP32? Maybe. Just depends. See, the ideas are flowing. Write notes. Yeah, no, I got it. I got it all up here. However, I am using Google Docs with tabs. I didn't know you could do tabs with Google Docs, kind of like an Excel sheet. And every time I'm having a conversation with AI, trying to get details about how these pinball machines work or whatever, the parts that I'm learning, I'm copying a snippet, pasting it into a tab. Like I have a tab for flippers, I have a tab for the cabinet, a tab for the play field, all these things I'm talking about. And I'm writing down everything that's important that I need to go back to. Because the problem with ChatGPT and all these other LLMs is that when you get into these long conversations, you have this scrollable conversation that's, the size of Nebraska, that you don't know where you had these this information that was important. So I'm organizing these things in a Google Doc. So yeah, write down things that you have an idea for. And yeah, definitely. I agree with you, Brent. Check out Adafruit for good examples. Yeah, actually the MOSFET board I'm looking at is from Adafruit, and it has 4 channels, and it has this thing called a diode. What is it? Let me look at what this thing is called. It's called this is a flyback diode. So apparently, this is what ChatGPT was telling me, is if this solenoid that you're going to push out and in for the flipper, when it retracts back, there's a magnet that retracts the solenoid back when it loses electricity, but it pushes back the electricity into this MOSFET. It's kind of like a relay, and I guess it can burn it out if it doesn't have this diode built into it. And I wanted to find a board that had this diode soldered onto it or whatever in the circuit. And this one from Adafruit, it has the diode, but it's only 2.5 amps. But I found some solenoids that are 1 amps. So I'm going to test those out, when I get them or whatever, when I get time to play around with that and see if they're powerful enough for pushing a little steel ball up this ramp. So we'll see how that goes. I'll do a video on it too. Let's see here. Hey, Cosmin has shrimp tanks. How you doing? Having a good night? Having a good start to your weekend, hopefully? Yeah, it's pretty warm here in Michigan. It's like running 80s, 90s. So we kind of been indoors a little bit this week. We were out, I think it was Wednesday. We played some croquet. But, when it's in the 90s, we don't spend too much time outside. But we do have Lake Michigan, which we are going to travel out there this next week. We're going to spend some time out there, so that should be fun. So the kids always like to go to the lake and play in the waves and all that. So yeah, it should be a good time. So let's see, what else do I have to do around here? It's always a mess. Yeah, and I did for these M3 screws. I did have to get another tap. So I'm tapping a little bit if the screws aren't nice and clean as far as screwing them in. But I didn't have to on the last print. So, but sometimes it's not a perfect print every time. It's really small thread size, but larger threaded bolts usually will print pretty well, and they can screw in pretty well on 3D printers. So. But let's see here. Yep, just got back from the shop. I pretend to be a woodworker. Oh, really? Okay. Well, are you making stuff for hobbies or for business? Let me know. I was looking at, I found a new channel out there. The guy's got some viral videos. Let me find what this channel is. I'll tell you guys. Let me see here. I was binge watching this guy's channel on CNC machines, 3D printing, and laser cutters. And I was kind of learning about these CNC machines that are coming down the pipe that are similar to a 3D printing machine, kind of like for your home, sort of. And it was kind of interesting. I'm definitely interested in the CNC side. I know that I don't know if woodworking is always. I mean, you can do CNC and woodwork. Um, I don't know if a lot of woodworkers use CNC machines. Maybe they do. Um, but for steel and aluminum, I know that they're pretty popular, obviously. So let me know what you're building. I mostly make rolling pins and whatever else the lady wants. Cool. I have a serious hobby shop. No, that's cool, man. I don't consider this a serious hobby shop. If I was serious, I would have, a CNC machine, a lathe, maybe a Bridgeport. I guess I wouldn't need a Bridgeport with a CNC machine. 3D printers, probably have some big saws or stuff like that, and a bigger space. This is only like not even 100 square feet. So, but I've got 2 3D printers. It's good enough, Makera, yes, makes desktop CNC that I have, and it's pretty great. You have one, okay? Do you have that one that's like $5,000? That one? I know that they're coming out with like a $1,200 one. That looked interesting too. I was taking a look at that. I think it's like kind of a Kickstarter thing. Like so many people have to order it maybe for it to be fulfilled. So yeah. Now, where do you have that? I assume in your garage, Chris. And how does the fluid work? The coolant? Does it recycle, or like how does that work? It's been a while. I worked on a Bridgeport 30 years ago with my dad, and I remember we would take like Pepsi bottles, like the little 1 liters. We'd put coolant in there, and we'd be drilling on the Bridgeport and squeezing the coolant on the piece. we didn't have a CNC machine at the shop we were at, but I remember you get that metal, man. It gets hot, depending on how much you're trying to take off the piece of metal. No coolant. Okay. Yeah. And it's in the garage. All right, cool. Yeah. I just wonder, like the home ones, if they have coolant, how does that work? Does it recycle? Does it go into like a little bin and then have a pump to go back up? I assume it probably does. But I remember like working on a Bridgeport, there's metal shavings everywhere. So if I were to get a CNC machine, I'd have to have an enclosure, man, because those shavings just go everywhere, and even more so with a CNC machine because it's taking really tiny layers off the part versus like a Bridgeport. You can kind of grind out your piece, fairly thick pieces, but you get these thick shavings just flying down your shirt, that kind of thing. I remember doing that with my dad. It wasn't fun. I've not had any use, or I've not had to use any coolant for any metal work. It's enclosed and has a vacuum attached to it. Oh, okay, cool. No, that's cool. Yeah, you don't have to. I mean, I guess if you're taking off a small amount of layers, right? Probably 0.1 or 0.2 millimeters, probably don't have any issues with, heat on material, but I'm sure in certain circumstances you probably do, I guess, time-wise, if you want to be fast on your part, right? The faster you go, the hotter it's going to get, obviously. So, but yeah, that does interest me. Maybe a CNC machine. I like woodwork too. I haven't done wood carving in a long time. I used to do wood carving as a kid, but if I wanted to do it, I would probably want some real tools, not just a whittling knife, but chisels and CNC machine. Probably I need a table saw. I don't have one of those yet. I just have hand saws, which I wish I had a table saw. That'd be nice. I just need the space. I do have a 3-car garage, but my lawnmower is in the third garage. I have a riding lawnmower, a John Deere. I don't know if I could rearrange it to where I could get more space out of it because my kids' bikes take up the other half of that garage. But maybe someday when I can like organize their bikes in a way to keep the John Deere back, I could have a little space there. The main issue with no coolant is that your part expands with heat. Ah, yes, that makes sense. Then once it cools to room temperature, it may be out of spec. Yeah. It probably depends on the application. If that's an issue as well, right? Like if you're doing a real tight tolerance for a part, Yeah, I think that would be an issue. I suppose if you don't have parts that have to go together, if it's just like a part for one application that's not doesn't have any tolerance issues, that'd be okay, I guess, right? But yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I don't think I would have one in my house necessarily. They're pretty loud once they get going, or maybe they're not. I don't know these new ones, the household ones, but I don't know if I'd have one in my house. Maybe in the garage. I think the garage is more appropriate. So I do I do enjoy having the big boy tools. I guess these two 3D printers, probably the biggest tools I probably ever purchased. I don't think I've purchased anything bigger than those as far as like price and just size wise. They're fairly decent size. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is a big boy toy, a half rack. I think I spent probably the NAS was the most expensive part. I probably have like 1,500 invested in this half rack. Again, I didn't fill it with a bunch of tech gear. These days, you just do most of the stuff on the cloud. But I have used it quite a bit. The kind of work I do, I use the PoE quite a bit. I routed all. I had Cat5 phone lines routed through the house. They were phone jacks, but I switched them over to 9-pin Ethernet jacks because the wire is all nine-pin wire. And so I do use that throughout the house. I've got these touch panels that are power over Ethernet that we sell at my company. And so I'm always plugging those in, testing them and things like that. I had to test a new one this week. So I have those running up to my office. We also have other products that we sell that has power over Ethernet as well. Like these little computers in here that have these little lights. Those are all PoE as well. So it has been pretty handy to not have to get a PoE injector and all these things. It's kind of a pain. No, wouldn't have it in the house. Pretty loud, even with the enclosure. Yeah, that's good to know. Thanks for letting us know that, because I'm sure some of us here on this channel definitely would be interested in doing a CNC machine. So it's similar to 3D printing, but I learned in this guy's video, which maybe I'll try to find here, that you have to, there's a probe on some of these CNC machines to locate where your part is. And then you got to have a vise. The vise is the part there, or else it's obviously not going to stay there and it's going to get cut and go flying. And then you have to, I think, what does it have to do? Locate one side, the other side, the top, the left or the right, and then the very top of the part, right? So X, Y, Z, it's got to locate where that is before it can make the cut. But it is G code, right? That's in the CNC machine. It's very similar to a 3D printer. You've got these kind of stepper motors or whatever that's moving your X and Y. And then I guess the Z, I don't know how that works on a CNC machine. Probably very similar to a print bed. Yeah, it's G code. Huh. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like after I did this 3D printing, that I realized, man, I could do CNC machines, but they look overwhelming. The industrial ones, they look just like huge, overwhelming, big controller. So that it's like, could I ever get into that? I don't know. I don't think I'd ever want to start. I would start with one of those cheap Chinese ones that are just for hobbyists, because the guy on this video was saying some people go all in right away and they get these like $30,000 CNC machines and they don't even fit in the garage. So that is not my style. I would start small, learn my way around, probably break a few things, and then move up to a more sophisticated machine once I got around to it. All right, let me find this guy's channel. It's pretty cool. I definitely recommend it. Let's see here. Let me look at my history. I was binging this guy's channel today. It is here. One sec. Let's see here. Where is it at? Why is it in my history? Oh, here it is. Okay, let me click on that. Pause it. All right. Let me go to this guy's channel. I'll just send the link on the chat here. I think he does more of a faceless channel, which is fine. But he was like comparing CNCs with different machines, 3D printers. It was pretty good. This guy, Nick Staggs. Definitely check it out. He's got, I think, 400 subscribers, but he's got videos with like 35,000 views. So he's got pretty good content that I stumbled on. So 30K is barely entry level for a metal CNC. Yeah, I've seen them. They're huge and probably go upwards of 100K, probably mid-level, I would suspect, industrial size. So I'm in Michigan, so it's been around me my whole life. I've heard about them. I've been to my dad's shop, and I've seen them in the shop. Didn't really know the details about them. But like I said, I worked at the startup where they bought these old auctioned bridge ports, and I was a teenager, and I had to sand them all down. I had to paint them all, and then I was on one of them for the last month of the time there. I was in there for just the summer. It was fun. I was making like these little kind of square rectangle parts, drilling little holes in certain spots, having to line up the X and Y. You have to spin this little spinner thing that moves the I don't know what it's called, the board, or I guess you would call it the Z-axis, basically. So you'd have to move it up and down, left and right, and then you'd see a digital readout. Nothing was automated. It was totally like everything was manual. It's probably why that business failed. Maybe they weren't efficient or something. I don't exactly know. Maybe the owner spent too much. I remember the guy was like, I think my dad was kind of annoyed with him because he was like always showing off his new toys, boats, and cars. That's probably why his business went out of business. So moves the table, yeah. So it was fun back then, but that's kind of why I went to college, because I didn't want metal shavings going down my neck. And my dad was like, this is hard work. You got to stand there all day long doing, 20, 30, 40, 50 parts a day. And I don't know, just one of those things. I remember him coming home all the time, just sweating and just exhausted, after the day. So watching your dad, work hard, he's telling you to go to college, you probably should go. So that's one of the big reasons why I did go. I kind of realized real early what that kind of work is. It's hard work. So, hey Pele, how you doing, man? How is the switch from you were doing the office supplies? I forget, what did you switch to? You switched to, I forget. Let me know. I'm already forgetting what you switched to. You told us it last week. Now I'm trying to remember. That's what happens when you get old. You kind of forget like what people are doing, short-term stuff. I'm trying to think of what you were getting into then. Yeah, let us know, man. And let us know how you're doing too. Are you selling a product yet, or are you still designing it? I'll show you my table too. Some updates I did, which I got a video Sunday, but I already made changes to it. You guys know me. I don't stop at just that one day. I've already got to make changes. I swear, everything I launch on YouTube, I show it, and then the next day I'm making changes to it. That's just how it goes. So, yeah, let me know what you switched to, Pele. I totally forget. And you're down in Arizona, was it? I think. Oh yeah, the vinyl record thing. Why did I forget that? Yeah, 7-inch vinyl record frame. I got an invoice for acrylic parts. It as a 7 order minimum. Okay. And $5 some change, but total was $60 with shipping. Haven't pulled the trigger. Gonna look at all my options. Okay, so you got some acrylic parts that you're putting into it. And you're debating on where to source these parts from. something like that. And I was supposed to get an acrylic top for this pinball machine, but I had it in my cart and I just never clicked the buy on Amazon. So I'll have to wait until probably next week sometime to get it. So just the acrylic frame as the window. I got you. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm actually going to do a 3mm acrylic top here. I'm going to have to cut it because I can't get this exact size. I'm going to need a 12 by 16. Well, actually, I only need 9 by 16, but I can't find anything that's like a 9 by 16 or a 10 by 16. So I found one that's a 12 by 16, 3mm. And I'm already going to change this because, so here's, if you see here, here's the lip that the acrylic is going to sit on. It's going to sit on this, and the same thing goes over here. Okay. It's like the glass of the pinball machine. And I was thinking about how am I going to attach it? Instead, I'm going to put a lip right here on top of it and right here. And then I'm going to slide the acrylic inside this machine. So it'll sit on top, slide right in. So I have to have like, some clearance here. Hopefully I can get it to where it's tight enough to where I can slide it in, but tight enough to where it won't fall out. Now, here's what I'll do though, is I'll get it in, because I think this is how even big pinball machines work, is I think they do slide in and out, if I remember right. And then the front will hold it in from sliding out, essentially. So I still haven't built a front yet. This blue piece is just a pretend front, but I'll have to make some sort of themed front. Obviously, I'll have to have a little pinball thing here. But yeah, I'll show you Pele, because you may not have been on earlier. Here, let me see what I got going on here. If you're going to cut acrylic, make sure it is cast acrylic. Okay. The extruded one chips easily when cut. All right, good to know. Cast acrylic. Better make a note of that. Cast acrylic. Okay, I'll look into that. Cool. For my frame, I made a little recess for the acrylic. Yep. And the top piece borders are a bit bigger than the bottom, so the magnets on the top frame will also hold the acrylic in place. Nice. Yeah, so you're engineering for assembly, essentially, which is exactly what I'm doing here. So the video I got coming out Sunday, I'm showcasing this slot design that I did. So Pele, I've got the slots here on a female side, and then I've got a male connector here. So simply it just pushes in nice and tight. Nothing's moving. Now, obviously I can go in and super glue here at the joints to where, like, the customer wouldn't be able to slide these things off. Now I was starting with 100mm section for the cabinet, but then I was like, you know what, why not just go 200mm, right? So now I went with the big dog. This took 9 hours to print, and again, it's got a male side here, female side here. That way I can connect the two real easily and connect the back and the front. Okay, I'm gonna do like probably maybe 50 millimeters in the front. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do for the front, but the play field, I'm using the same design for connecting the play field inside here, okay, where the ball is going to roll. And so I've got the same male slot position. The back is going to have the female side, and it simply goes on just like this, get all down, and then I just push it down nice and firm. And this is not going anywhere. Like, it's not wobbly. It even takes a little bit of effort to get out. So yeah, this is working out pretty good. And then I got the shooter ramp, one piece, 100mm. This one's a little tougher to get in. Slide down. And then I've got a hole for the ball to go from the play field to the launch field. And so that'll be interesting. And then I'm going to print a 200 millimeter part here that's going to span 2 of these cabinet pieces. That way it'll be even more structurally intact, to where this thing, it's like sturdy as a rock. I mean, I would not feel hesitant shipping this. Obviously I'd have more packaging. The only part that I'm hesitant on is the acrylic. That's the part that I'm most hesitant on, but we'll see how it goes. I got to get to that point. So, excuse me. So yeah, that's what I was working on yesterday and today, getting that to kind of work and be seamless. I was having trouble. I had the part that like I printed this 200 millimeter part, but I tried to fit it on here and it broke a couple of things because it was too tight. I had to go, I was going by 0.1 millimeters, making these female holes a little bit bigger each test. But what I found was you need about a 1 millimeter difference between the male part here and the female part. That was kind of the sweet spot. It's tight enough to where it's not moving, but tight enough to where I can get it on without busting things. And I actually cut my finger a few times taking it off and putting it on. But now I'm really happy with where it is. Got a nice throwaway part. This is Danson 3D prints too, this white filament. I've had a few times with it. If you don't know who Danson 3D prints is, he's got filament extrusion line at a New Jersey warehouse. And he does 3D printing too. He's got a whole, 100 plus 3D printers, but he's selling PLA now. And he said some of his first batches were kind of iffy as far as the tolerance goes. And I've had a few times on the extruder not getting loaded. So I've had to pull out the filament, reload it back in, and then it goes for some reason. But I am using it. It is pretty good material, pretty good PLA. He's got a lot more since I first bought this stuff. But yeah, you see, I've got a couple of these little male parts that are stuck in there because it was so tight, way too tight. But I got it dialed in. I was good. I was gonna go to screws. I was tempted to like buy some screws and just fall back on that, but I'm like, no, man, I got to keep trying until I get the fit just right. Because I don't want to use screws, to be honest, with any of this stuff. The least amount of screws I can use. Because I'm already like going to be introducing like solenoids and motherboards to this thing. I am going to have some electronics in it. And those are just more parts that I'm going to need. Yes, I am going to need some screws for that. But if I can make the rest of the pinball machine out of 3D printed parts and assemble them pretty easily, just snap together, that's what I want to do. So I wish I was an engineer. Being an electrician isn't translating as easy for trying to create my own models. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not a mechanical engineer. I never learned modeling in college, high school, none of that. I mean, engineering, honestly, all it is from a software perspective and from modeling perspective, it's one thing. It's one thing only. Iteration. That's all it is. It is iteration, iteration, iteration. Not to, well, there's something that a lot of people don't really emphasize when it comes to engineering, and that's cycle time. Cycle time with iteration. You want to have the smallest cycle time as you can. What do I mean by that? Well, you model something, right? And you need to make a print and you need to test that print. That's your cycle time. Model, print, test. Model, print, test. You need to make that short, right? What are some things that you can do to make that short? Obviously, the modeling, that's kind of hard to do. Maybe AI could help you down the road. Who knows? But modeling is probably a bottleneck. That's probably the longest thing because you do have to be pretty detailed with the modeling. But the printer, right? Go with the 0.6 millimeter nozzle if it's not something small and intricate. if it's something that's fairly kind of large that you need to print real quick, switch to a 0.6. That could be one way to save time. Print with little infill. That could save you time. Print a small slice like this. I wanted to test this I wanted to see what could fit through here. I wanted to make sure it didn't need supports. I just chopped this. It was this entire model. I certainly wouldn't want to print this whole thing. You want to print a small little subset, this little section, and that's how you save time as well, right? So iteration and cycle time. Those are the two things you got to focus on to be a good engineer. You got to have short cycle times, and that's the key. Iterate over and over and over, because the more times you iterate, the better your product quality gets to be, as long as you're testing it, right? You got to test it. Like I tested this little, female male connection slot technology probably about 5 or 6 times, but I did really small samples, which I don't think I have around here. I think I threw some of them out. I don't know if I have any, but essentially, like, look at this blue piece. This is just a small section, which I just sliced just that little tiny corner off in Bamboo Studio and just printed the little blue section here, right? Same thing even goes with this was the play field. You notice how this one is bigger than this one? Because I was only wanting to test the play field. I wasn't focused on the shooting ramp at the time. I was only focused on this. So I'm only going to print this because it saves me time, because cycle time is everything. That's just what I've learned. I mean, with software engineering, you can reduce cycle time by doing automated testing. AI just reduces it entirely. It's a little harder with modeling, but that's the key, man, to engineering is cycle time. Let's see here. Brent goes, I was a truck driver for 15 years before starting designing my parts. Just takes time and practice. Yeah. The more practice you get with the software, now your cycle time reduces even more, because, maybe here's another thing too I can recommend, Pele, is if you find you're doing something in the software that you're using that's taking up time, maybe there's a better, more efficient way to model something in that software and start to research other features of the software. It could be something as simple as mirroring a product. I remember my wall plates. When I first started, I didn't know there was a mirror feature in Blender or in Bamboo Studio. And I was like creating a left and a right mirrored image or a mirrored model. And I was making 2 separate models for that. Like, how inefficient is that? Once I figured out that the mirror capability was there, I was like, oh my God, I just wasted all that time. It's just, there's probably other features in Blender or in whatever software that you're using that probably can make you more efficient. So that's something to consider too. I don't know with Blender, I need to look into this. Is this AI MCP server? Blender can talk to Claude. I just haven't had time to mess around with it, but I will be doing that pretty soon, because that could make my time more efficient as well. So, but it might cause me more problems, because it might add things to the model that I don't understand how to get rid of it or how to change it or how to modify it. But STLs aren't really that hard to modify usually. So I don't know, maybe it might help me. So we'll see. So that's something I recommend exploring is, use AI as a tool, but don't depend on it, right? That's the key. Like, some people are going to go into this business and they're going to do everything in AI, but the minute they need to make a change in a model that the AI can't do accurately, that's when they're going to have a problem. They're not going to know how to use Blender or whatever software to manipulate their model in a way to fit a part, let's say, right? Like, I guarantee you, if I had whatever it is, Anthropic, Claude, trying to get this little thing working, it probably would have screwed it up 10 or 12 times before. It probably would have like changed 2 or 3 of these, and maybe it misses one. Who knows? Like these models aren't perfect these days, but it could do things like give you ideas on how to make things more efficient, maybe even with your printing as well. Like obviously you don't want supports, things like that. It's just like one added step that you have to deal with. So yeah, I have so many prototypes sitting on my floor right now, dude. All of us do. For what you do, the free version of Fusion should be plenty. Give it a try once. Yeah, I probably need to. I don't know. I just still like, I don't know why, Blender? Maybe I need to check out Fusion. You're probably right. I don't know, Blender, I just know it so well now, But yeah, here you go, Pele. Don't feel so bad, because here's a whole bucket full of wall plates. I mean, I can still take photos of these. Now, I'm not selling the red one, but I'm not going to sell any of these because they're not the fireproof ones. So it is what it is. Someday I'll have a real sad trash day, unfortunately, because you can't recycle. I wish there was like recycling through my garbage company for PLA or 3D printed parts. Maybe they will hopefully come out with something like that. I'm sure you can take it somewhere and recycle this stuff, but I haven't looked into it, but probably should. Mini Mechanic caught the stream. How you doing tonight? Doing pretty good. Yeah, we're just talking 3D printing. I was organizing the workshop a little bit. I still have a lot to do to organize my workshop, but never ends. Show you my little Lego arcade pinball machine. And yeah, I'm excited to put this one together, learn how they did the flippers. Obviously, I think it's all mechanical. There's no electronics in this. So I'll get some ideas of how Lego's doing things. We'll see. But for me, I think I might definitely do a electronic 3D printed pinball machine. So I'm going to put some electronics in this thing. So if you caught the stream late, this is my latest print. Some of it's busted because I was messing with this slot system where I can put these parts together using no screws essentially. So yeah, let me show you. So yeah, this is the play field, and I built like a slot system to where I can slot everything in, no screws. So I'm pretty proud of that. I'm not a mechanical engineer or anything, and I wanted to do something that was challenging, and it's working. So hopefully it works for the final product. I got to put all this stuff together, see if it's all gonna, not move. I might have to do some super glue maybe on the cabinet seams. I want to try to not use screws very much, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. See how sturdy I can make this thing. So yeah, this is the play field. This is the shooting ramp right here. Now it's a little wide, so like a ball would go like kind of crazy in here. But the reason it's wide is because I want to make this piece here where I'm going to print like maybe it's like a chute or something. So it's going to go up here and then turn into the play field. Or I could put some LEDs on the side here. Who knows? Same thing for this. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do here. I might do a modular hole system, or I might just put individual holes for the individual parts and just make it kind of customized to what I want to sell. I'm not exactly sure yet. I'm still exploring these options. So I want to design something smaller though that print faster but keep in the ecosystem of music. Maybe I'll do something with cassettes or 8-tracks. 8-tracks are big though. Cassettes are a little bit smaller. What about CDs? I mean, dude, I still have hundreds of CDs up in my music room. Those are much smaller than 7-inch vinyls. I'd focus on CDs. I think you could probably make something decent for those. Cassettes, I'm sure there's some people that still have them and maybe use them. But I think CDs, you're gonna get more hits with CDs, and they are smaller. Trying to think of what you could do for that. You'll figure it out. You figure out something to do. But I'll tell you what, honestly, I think that the bigger you go, the less competition you're going to have for what you're doing. Dude, I don't see a lot of people wanting to build this. Any print that's over 10 hours, like this print alone, this black piece is 9 hours. Any print over 10 hours, I mean, the dragons, I guess, take a little bit more than that probably, but if you have something that's 10 to 20 hours, it's going to eliminate, 50% of people out there. The more niche and more complex it is, and the bigger it is, the less people are going to do it, So I don't know. I think it's as long as you've got it priced right when you finalize this thing, I wouldn't worry about the time so much, honestly, because you're not going to sell 100 on day one. You probably won't sell one on day one when you launch it. It takes time to build an audience. It takes time to market a product. And if it takes 20 hours to print, it takes 20 hours to print. That's not a big deal, honestly. I mean, if it takes off, then it's a problem, but that's a good problem to have. And that's when you decide, hey, it takes off. It takes 20 hours to print. Just buy more printers, man. That's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to find that space in your house, find the spare bedroom, go stick another bamboo P2S in the closet, whatever it is you got to do. And that's how you scale, right? There's another guy, Chris, on Off the Bench. He's got like 30 printers in his basement. He's scaling by just buying more printers. So don't worry about the hours. I was worried about that too. That's why I was really happy with the wall plates. They only take me 3.5, 4 hours to print, which is pretty low. But where was I going with that? So I was happy with that. But again, I'm only selling a couple at a time. It's not super exciting. Like a wall plate, there's not a ton exciting about it. It's functional, right? But if I was selling one of these a week or one a month, even, let's say one a week. Like right now, I'm selling one wall plate a week. I think that's pretty good for just starting out. If I sold one of these a week and it took me, let's say it took me 40 hours to print all this stuff and put it together, I think I'd like that more because I'd probably have higher margins on a 40-hour print. It's hard to explain, but maybe I'll try to do it in a video. But like these wall plates, it's one SKU. Let's say it's one SKU, right? And I advertise it, and that SKU gets clicked on $3 a day, right? So it's $30 a month. If I only get 4 sales at $20 a piece or $25 a piece, that's $100 in revenue and $30 in advertising. Man, I've lost a bunch there, right? Like not lost, but like it's expensive to advertise on these platforms. I don't even know if I'm doing the math right. $3 a day times 30. No, I'm doing the math wrong. If it's $3 a day times 30 days, that's $100 in advertising. You see my point? You're flat. It's a wash. But if you take the same product and let's say you get $3 in clicks a day and you sell one a week and it's $300, or let's say it's $200, you're getting ahead of the advertising. The problem with the $20 item is that you got to sell more in volume. And the problem with like these 3D printed products, they're really niche, because I doubt if the other wall plate people are selling 20 a day. I mean, that's just for these wall plates. But I mean, for the vinyl stuff, would you sell more than one a week when you first start advertising? I don't know. It's hard to say. Every market's different. It might blow up. There's a lot of people getting into vinyl, so you might get a couple sales a week, and then the advertising thing won't be a big deal. But I I mean, it's not a huge issue from my perspective. I mean, I'm still pretty new to it, and I am in the green on Etsy, but very, very small, maybe like probably 30, $40. But maybe I'll get some good orders on Etsy sooner or later. Maybe I'll get an order for a couple wall plates for $100. And, that's what you need. You need these. I said it earlier in the live stream. You need your average order size, dollar size, to be at least 35 and above. So if you're selling your vinyl thing that maybe takes 10 hours to print for 35, 40, $50, that's worth it. It's worth the extra time, honestly. So this, for me, if I could sell it for $100, $200, if it was a real working pinball machine, like I spent, $220 on this bad boy. Granted, it's Lego. Granted, it's really cool looking. But $220, they're making some money for sure. Now, I clicked on an advertisement for this, so they had to spend money in AdSense on Facebook for this. And where was I going with that? Yeah, this makes money. Lego products. They don't sell this in the store. They only sell it online. They sell their big sets on their website for $200, $300, $600, right? Granted, it's Lego. It's a whole different company. I mean, they've been around forever. But yeah, I think you want to get that price point up. If it's a complex, good quality print, it'd be worth the extra dollars that somebody's going to spend on it. So, hey, Jack in the Shop, how you doing, man? Let's see here. Print a hand winder for cassettes. I'm tired of winding them with a pencil just to save my Walkman batteries. Oh, dude. Here you go. Yeah, I've got, what did I have? This. Let me check this out. Hold on. Here you go. So I don't know if you've seen this yet. This is the Pasta Light. This is a little overkill for cassette turning, but this does, kind of turn something. So you could kind of take some design like this and turn a cassette thing. This thing's kind of cool. I've used it kind of a little bit. But if I ever did 3 kilogram reels to 1 kilogram transfers, or smaller to 1 kilogram transfers, this thing is called the Pasta Light. It's for if you have to re-spool your filament. But I just thought about this, something that cranks and turns, kind of fun. But that's a good idea though. Something for cassettes to turn. I see what I can think, old Cosman, for the moment for testing, ironing for matte PLA. The print time total is probably like 7 to 8.5 hours for the whole frame, and then putting magnets in after. Okay. I'm thinking about $25, give or take, material wise. That's including the acrylic piece for $9.29 a piece. Wait a second. Hold on. Sorry. What's your cost of goods for a single SKU? Is it $9.29 for the part, for all your parts, including your filament? Let me know. Oh no, don't worry about it. Autocorrect, yeah, it happens. What's your total cost of goods? Like for my wall plates, I'll show you one, right? You've seen them. With the fire retardant material, this one cost me around $3 to $4. The big one's almost around $5, I think. I'm selling that for $22.99. So if that gives you some perspective, if you're around $10, you need to sell that for like $40. The way to look at hardware and anything physical you're selling, this is your number, 4. You need to 4x whatever your cost of goods is at a minimum, honestly, because you could get returns. If you're printing a large part that's 10 hours, you're going to have prints that fail. So you need to have margin for that. I would also, for Etsy, this is what everyone's been recommending. don't pay for shipping. Just make sure you have them pay for shipping, unless it's like over a certain dollar amount. I think the $35 is pretty decent, but anything under 35, make them pay for shipping. So it's just you can't be in business with paying for shipping. I realized that early, so I'm having everyone pay for shipping now. Justin D. Peak says, installed a heater onto my P2S today. Was reaching about 55 to 60. Went with the Martillo Tech M2. Kind of pricey, but so far it seems worth it. All right, I'm going to write that down because I was looking for a heater for my P2S because I got polycarbonate, and I couldn't find anything out there really. Martillo Tech M2. Let me check that out. Now, where are you from? The U.S. or Europe? Because sometimes some of these products I find that are overseas, they're too expensive. Tech M2. I'm going to check that out real quick. Martillo. Oh, I didn't want to open that. Martillo Tech M2. Okay. Check that out. All right. Yeah, this is for the P2S. Yeah, there's another company. I think they wanted to do an ad campaign with me, but it was like for a P1S, and I don't have one. So let me see here. Oh, I see it. Okay. Yeah, 139. No, that's cool. Man, that thing looks big, but maybe it's not so big. Okay, cool. I'll have to check that out. So you like it? It's working pretty good for you? Jack says, I'm getting away from bamboo. Yeah, you mentioned that. You've got a few printers, I think, right? Like 8 or 9 of them or something, if I remember right. What are you going to? Prusa or which brand are you going with? So far, so good. All right, cool. Was it hard to install? Like, what did it take? Did you have to add like wiring or anything like that? Or like, how does it plug into like a portion on the P2S or something like that? Some part of the product? Yeah, you got the U1, and I'm watching the Solvo 1MD. Okay. Yeah, you mentioned the U1. I was looking at that a little bit. But I'm kind of leaning towards, again, a big if. Well, maybe I will get the U1 as well. I don't know. If I can get this to be a reality, there's a lot to go into this. This could take me months to make a reality. But if I could, I would like to get a UV printer so I could print some nice artwork on the playfield, maybe on the sides. And there's this Ufamake E1 or something like that. This UV printer that I guess is pretty good. I saw some people using it and some reviews on it. So I think that would be kind of cool for this, to print something real nice and artsy. Obviously, because, if you look on the sides, and everyone's played on a pinball machine, there's a lot of nice art on the sides and on the top, on the play field as well. So it could be kind of a good thing to add to the workshop and do some reviews on, and just play around with it, see if other people are interested in that kind of technology as well. I downgraded my X1C to a single color printer. Okay, what was it? I'm not familiar with the X1C. How many nozzles does it have? Does it have just 2? And you're just using it as a kind of a P1S kind of thing? Justin says, just have to remove the back panel and connect to the main terminal. Okay. Took about 30 to 45 minutes. Not bad at all. There are some YouTube videos showing the install. Okay. Yeah, if I get more orders for my wall plates, to a point where I'm really pushing it on the polycarbonate side, I might consider getting one as well. I haven't had too much warping on this next print I did for an order for polycarbonate, and it printed out really well. So the way I've split my product, it doesn't warp at all. But if I make it any bigger, it starts to get just a tiny bit of warping on the corner, starts to pull up the corners. And I get my printer up to 50, but that's the max. I can't get up to 55 or 60. Somebody said to put a blanket over the door or tape the door, and you might be able to save heat dissipation there. But yeah. Are you printing with polycarbonate or nylon, stuff like that, where it's warping a little bit? ABS warps a little bit, not as bad, I think. I'm also watching the Light Make L4. Okay. Have you done any PETG glass fiber? No, I have not. I've only done carbon fiber. Looks absolutely beautiful. No layer lines. Really? So that's what glass fiber kind of does, huh? Interesting. What are you going with, a 0.6 millimeter nozzle? And I wonder how quick your nozzles will run out using glass or carbon fiber. I know they sell those tungsten ones, bamboo, but even those can get abrasions on over time. It takes a while. I'm just kind of curious what your thoughts were on that. But yeah, I'd like to explore that one, the glass fiber. That sounds interesting. Carbon fiber, I'll tell you what. I mean, I like the way carbon fiber looks. This right here is carbon fiber, and honestly, it's PETG carbon fiber. And only on like these letters, there's some letters here. I don't know if you can see it, but you can see the layer lines, but the rest you can't see at all. I mean, you really got to look real close. This is a 0.6 millimeter nozzle. But yeah, I do like carbon fiber. I have printed with it a fair amount. I enjoy it. Just that smooth, kind of buttery feel to it. I mean, PLA still feels pretty good. I mean, even this one, I mean, you can see the layer lines, but I don't think they're that bad. But yeah, they're getting better and better, all these 3D printers, you know. You are using a tungsten carbide 0.4, no issues yet. Do you run the PETG carbon fiber through the AMS? Yes, I do. I don't have the reel here. I had that black one, and I had a green one. This over here, my window, that right there is all PETG carbon fiber. And I ran out. This was just such a large print that I had to use that, which was PETG carbon fiber, just black, you know. But yeah, that ran all through the AMS, no problems. The only thing I have not been able to run through the AMS was nylon carbon fiber, nylon 12 carbon fiber. I don't know where that is. Maybe it's, nope, that's not it. I did a job for my dad's company. It's an automotive supplier, and that's what they wanted me to work with. This stuff is so brittle. I did dry it before. I didn't have problems printing it. I did have to just manually spool it into the extruder. But man, this stuff is extremely brittle. Let's see where this. Yeah, this would not. I tried even the what do you call it? The AMS high temp. Tried loading it through there, wouldn't work. But yeah, this stuff. But when you print this stuff, it is extremely sharp. At least the part I printed had, you know, like it was like a rectangle shape at the bottom there. Like if you rubbed your finger on it really tight, it'd cut you. But yeah, let's see if this stuff will break. Yeah, super brittle, not very flexible. So nylon is probably your only material that you're going to have problems with the AMS. But the PETG carbon fiber seemed to work out fine. Trying to think if I had any other issues. Polycarbonate, I haven't had any issues with that one. Trying to think. Obviously, TPU is kind of tricky. Some people have put TPU through their AMS. Depends on how flexible it is. I've got these TPU, what do you call those things? The adapter. I did a video on it, but I don't print much in TPU. Maybe for this pinball machine I will. We'll see if like maybe the bumpers or something like that could use the TPU. We'll see. And maybe I would work with that a little bit more. So you missed my breakdown, by the way, but we're our biggest critics, yeah. So I'm like, there's no way someone would pay $50 for this. Yeah, that's the thing. It's hard. Pricing is the hardest thing, and we are our biggest critics, and we think our stuff isn't worth as much as it probably is. Yeah, it's hard. And I wonder how much, if there's competition for what you have. Like my wall plates, there's a lot of other people building those, but they're all with like cheap PLA. And there's some people selling them, not exactly how mine work. Like they're just customized wall plates, not with shelves, They're selling them for like $6 on Etsy. And I'm like, how are you even making money? Why do you even bother with that? But I don't know. I don't think I could get more than 25, 30 out of these wall plates, maybe a little bit. It's hard to say, I mean, they are unique. That's the thing too. You got to figure out is how unique is the product. If somebody finds your product and it is pretty unique, if there's no one else selling it and they really want it, I think they might pay $40, $39.99. Is $39.99 that much these days? It is and it isn't. Depends on who the buyer is. But I'll tell you what, people who are buying vinyl, they're spending bucks. I mean, a good vinyl record's $40. Think about it. That's what you got to think about is, do they want a nice thing to display their vinyl? That's what you're building, right? Or that's what you're selling. For me, I would spend $40 on something that sits on my nice entertainment center. It has the turntable. That's what you got to think of too. Okay. So think about the things that go with your product. So a nice vinyl record player is $1,200, $800, right? And there's even higher end vinyl players there. If your product is printed nice and it looks nice, it's got a nice acrylic thing, $40 is not that much for a nice vinyl area, And if it's unique and no one else is selling it, you could sell it for 40, definitely 40 or 50. So I used your video to learn how to use the TPU assistant. It helped a lot. I appreciate it. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, that one was kind of like a messy vlog video. I was just kind of putting it together. I was like, let's just do this, why not? It was a long video, but that video is still I think doing pretty good. I haven't checked on it in a while. I move on usually. Like I'll do a video and I'll look at it maybe that week, and then I'll feel good if it got over 1,000 views, and then I move on. I'm like I don't look too far back into my analytics. Every now and then I'll look back at some videos and just see which ones are still moving. That's kind of, it's interesting to know which ones are popular. So that was a fun one to do. These things are challenging, these little units, the TPU assisted feed assist, but I want to use them more. That's the thing. My rule of thumb is 8x to 10x cost of filament. Yep. Once you add electronics and post-processing, that's additional. Yeah, you're right. And that's what I said. I said minimum 4x, minimum 4x. So if it costs you $10 for your components, minimum 40, you're at $40. I know most acrylic out there, I've been looking, for this pinball machine, the little part that I can get 2 for $15. So that's what, $7.50 for the acrylic, right? And then this is right here, probably just for this piece alone is probably $5, depending on how much I can get the filament for. Probably $5 for PLA. So 5 times 2, I'm already at 10. Plus the acrylic, I'm at 7. That's $17. 4x of that, I'm almost at $100 for this pinball machine. I haven't even included the electronics or nothing. You know, let's say it cost me $50 to make this thing. I'm gonna have to be at $200, $199 minimum, for it to be a profitable thing. So maybe I'm just making them for myself, right? We'll see. But I don't know. You know, a real pinball machine is big. Most people can't buy them because they're so large. I would love to have one. My wife just wouldn't want me to have something that big added to my basement. But I don't know. You know, if I had a pinball machine that was desktop size, that played like a pinball machine, it has to play really well, like a real one, that was themed well. I'd pay $500, $600 for one. It goes on my desk, you know, and maybe if I make a couple different themes of this, I could see somebody collecting these. $499, right? $500. Christmas present, right? Something nice you could get your husband or your dad or your son, right? Something that, you know, it's mostly guys that are into video games and arcade games. I might make a female themed one too, because I got a daughter. You know, I wish I could do this. I would love to make a Taylor Swift one, but you got to license that. That's the problem with, you get into licensing if you're going to try to theme something. But yeah, like 8 to 10x is probably pretty normal for most businesses, for especially startups, man. But people are willing to pay for them if they're unique, built really well, and you got good customer service. You can get more dollars out of what you're making. So Jack in the shop says, I have a lot of tools and machines. I have a plasma CNC I use to cut designs in handsaws, I assume. I have a lineman handsaw. I don't even know what that is. I kept having to move the price up on. It is at $250 now. Takes 3 minutes to make. I have a lineman handsaw. What is that? Let us know. You're selling a saw for $250? That's cool. How thick of an acrylic are you using? Are you asking me or Pele? Pele's doing acrylic too for his vinyl record thing. I am going to use, I think, a 3mm thick piece of acrylic. That's what's going to go here. It's going to sit on top of there. Maybe that's too thick. I don't know. You let me know. I don't want it to be super flimsy, but maybe, this is 5. These walls are 5, but I'm sure I'll get a 3mm. If I can't cut it, then I'll have to either get a cutter or get a smaller piece, a thinner piece, right? Pele says, I've looked online. Most similar designs have more white space. Okay. Those are displayed as full album. Quarter of the records is covered. Mine is compact and full album, half record visible. The prices I've seen vary. Okay. Yeah, you got to compare the prices of the competitors for sure. You can also look into like add-ons, small little add-ons that maybe either attach to your part or come with the part. Maybe that's a way to get your average cost up. Or not cost, but your average revenue per sale up. You know, I forget what that term is, but I didn't get my MBA. Sorry, guys. I still wish I can share a photo of it to get actual feedback. Yeah, I need to figure that out, don't I? I'll try to think while I'm in this live stream. Jack in the shop, I think I ran into you on the IDC Woodcraft stream. Okay, there's a Woodcraft stream out there. Sweet. I'm there every Wednesday. Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, it is kind of fun to meet up in these live streams and chat it up, talk shop. You know, that's what these live streams are all about. Just hanging out, you know, talking in the chat, seeing what people are doing, what everyone's up to. If you want to share your photo, Pele, email me the photo, attach it in the email. I think I'll get it. Send it at dan@itsawealthylife.com and I'll get it, or daniel@tectoncreations.com. I'll show it on the stream. Not a problem. I'd like to see it. Unless you don't want me to show it on the stream, but you just want me to see it, just let me know. I know some people like to keep their products a secret, but me, I don't care. Here it is, guys. Here's my wall plates. Here's my wood-filled PLA shelf that I'm never going to sell. I don't know if I'm that impressed with the wood-filled, to be honest. It just looks brown, but it does have kind of a different feel than PLA, I guess. But this is that bamboo wood. I bought it on a live stream. I think I was impulse buying on the live stream. I got to try the other ones, though. Maybe the other ones are better, but it's okay. I'll share it. Okay, cool. How long are you running your inline duct fan? Just enough to create a negative pressure without moving too much heat. Yeah, I'm running it at like 30%. The polycarbonate, I didn't run it. I'm going to play around with that. Maybe run it at 10 to 20%. But 30% for PLA, PCTG, PETG, no problems whatsoever. So, and then I think it increases as the print starts to finish. And I still haven't had problems there. So, and at the very end, it does like 100%, tries to get all the fumes out essentially. But seems to be working pretty good. I do want to add a fan, like maybe a battery powered one or USB powered, right at the end there. That'll suck the air out. A couple of people suggested that on the channel, so maybe I'd add that as well. I do have another thing I need to add. This what is this called? It's like a one-way valve, right? It only goes one way. At the T here, I need to add two of them. I only bought one. I wasn't thinking. I need to add one here and add one there. That way, if only one printer is running, the fumes won't go into that printer and vice versa. I don't think it's a big deal. I mean, I've got something that's better than nothing, in my opinion. But, if I was printing with ABS and ASA all the time and polycarbonate, yeah, I'd probably like try to make this even better, but I'm not printing a ton and I'm not down here a ton. I also would like to get an air filter, like one of those, I don't know, they're like $150, $200, those air filter systems that tell you if the air is bad. I would like to get one of those just because this is a basement and sometimes I smell weird things down here. I don't know, it's one of those things. It's Michigan, it's underground, so there might be some mold somewhere. Clean up the air, be nice. What's the email again here? It's I'll just type it in. Sorry. Yeah, it should work. Jack in the Shop says, I just finished a 4-hour live stream. Were you doing a 4-hour live stream or were you just participating in it? I can't remember who's all YouTubers here. Justin says, yeah, sorry. That's what I thought you were running an inline fan at the end. You were talking about dampeners. Yeah, I guess they're dampeners, I think. Somebody suggested it on the channel. So one way kind of thing where the air can't go the opposite direction, right? It closes that valve. So sorry, I'm not a ductwork kind of person. Software guy. I've done my own basement and all that, but I've never done ductwork for a basement. So that was all pre-built when I finished my basement. Not this house, but a previous house. Justin says, ASA made my wife super sick. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. So I had to start venting outside the window. I read something, or maybe it was a 3D printing video. Somebody else said that they were running ASA like crazy, and then all of a sudden they felt sick. So yeah, definitely vent that stuff. So Jack in the Shop says Steve Makes Everything is another. Okay, it's Wednesday stream I watched. Steve Makes Everything. Okay. Sent. Ignore the failed attempt at cutting the vinyl. Okay, I'll check it out in a sec. 1 second. On your channel. Okay, cool. So you're doing YouTube as well. Pele says, also next prototype will have magnets embedded inside. Okay, we got to check this out, guys. Let's check out what Pele's doing. Alrighty, so let me open up my email real quick. See if it came through. Sometimes email blocks occasionally, you know. All right, I won't share your name. Let me see here. Yeah, it's downloading real quick. All right, here we go. Download. There we go. Let's check it out. Let me open those up and then I'll share them. Desktop. There we go. Okay. Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that is a large print. Here, let me maximize that. Here we go. Actually, no, this will share the whole window. All right, let me go over to, let's see here, present or invite, right? Yeah. Share screen, blah, blah, blah. Let's see if I can find it. Sorry, I got so many windows open. I gotta find it. Jeez. Oh, here we go. That was Chrome tabs. No wonder that wasn't. Here it is. Okay. There we go. All right. Sharing a window. Okay. You guys see that? Let's see here. Oh, no, not yet. Add to stage. Sorry. There it is. So it's like a frame. That's cool. Oh, and I see that's the acrylic that covers the vinyl album. And then is that is that like the album cover that you put in there? So the album holder goes in there as well? Or is that something you printed out? Just curious. And what are the magnets for? Oh, for like the acrylic or something like that? Interesting. Yeah, let me take a look at the other photo. It looks like it was like rotated or something. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Here, let me share this one. Here, let me. Where'd that go? Stop screen. Desktop. Here it is. Here's the other one. All right, here we go. Add to stage. All right, so that is so that's how it's kind of put together. You slide that in and then the magnets hold it together or something. I see. So that is the vinyl. So you got the record and you have the case. I think that's what it's called or whatever. That's pretty cool. It's interesting. Yeah, it just comes together with the magnets. Hey, take a look at this slot system that I'm doing a video on it. Just this little T slot. You could explore that if you don't want to deal with the magnets. I mean, this stuff. I don't know if I can show this. Yeah, I can show this side. Like this is. I don't know if the user would want to deal with this very much. Oh, it goes from the other side. But you could explore this doing a slot system, and you could get rid. I'm not going to demo it right now, but anyways, you could try that. You could go with bigger slots, so it wouldn't be as difficult if you didn't like the magnets. But I don't know exactly how you're using the magnets there. I think you're just putting it. It is probably easier for magnets because, you know, you don't want to struggle taking your vinyl out, you know. So swappable, and those magnets survived a shake test. That's good. Yeah, you don't want the vinyl to fall out when you pick that thing up, right? So that's good. I didn't fix the white spots on the print also. Album cover is inside it. Yes. Okay, perfect. Yeah, let's see that again. Oh, you got to remove. Oh, that's. I'm learning StreamYard, so that's kind of silly. Still, it looks pretty good. I'm trying to think of what other things you could do for that. Are you going to do a like a customized lettering? I think you mentioned you were going to do that, like on the bottom or something like that, like the album name, or maybe you were going to like do some like UV printed thing or something. You mentioned something like that. So that could add more value too. Like you can charge a premium if you're doing like something customized for that. I'm just trying to think of what you could do. Like maybe you could customize kind of in an engraving perspective, like 3D print the raised or lowered name of the album or the favorite song that they like or something like that. Who knows? There's probably lots of options you could do. Customize it out and make it worth $40 to $50. I definitely think you're probably at $40 to $50 for that. I mean, you think about it. If I look at that, if I were to go to Michael's, which is a cheap Chinese frame, I'm just thinking from a frame perspective. How big is that? That looks pretty big. Yeah, it's a 7-inch vinyl, right? If you go to Michael's, you're going to pay $15, $17 for a frame there, probably that size. So with what you're doing, which is customized, it's got magnets. Yeah, I think $40. That's just my initial take. You know what? Start high. And if it doesn't sell, go a little lower. And don't lower your price until you get some people clicking on it on Etsy and people favoriting the item. What does that mean? It means there's interest, right? You need to get interest first. That's first and foremost. I don't think $40 is going to prevent people from favoriting the item, because there's a strategy I think some Etsy people have. When you favorite an item, you can give an offer for people who favorite. You can send an email, and they know that. They know they can favorite something and wait for the offer to come. I have offers on everything. If you've added to your cart, if you favorited item, I think there's like 2 other offers or something you can do in Etsy. Do them all. Just get traction, get a sale, feel good about your product. Start at $40, $39.99. And if you sell a bunch of them, right? If you get busy where you can't keep up if you can't keep up with an 8-hour print or 10 hours, I don't know how long this thing takes, then either increase the price or buy more printers. That's your options. Your price is probably too low if you get too many people buying them. If you find that you're going through it a lot, your price is probably too low. You probably need to increase it, but it's hard. It's not easy. Again, you'll figure it out. You just keep trying. Just get it out there. Get the product out there. Start advertising. You're going to spend, like I said, $100 a month if it's popular. Like these little bathroom accessories, I don't spend $100 because the search on these things, people aren't searching for bathroom accessories on Etsy, at least not how I'm tagging my products. But the wall plates, I'm getting like, I don't know, thousands of views. I don't know if it's per day. I don't remember. I mean, I'll look at my analytics. Let me see what I get. Where are we at here? Marketing. So I'm at, around 1,000 views a day. Some days 1,500 views. As far as clicks, let's see. Today's almost over. How many clicks did I have? Let's see. Today, I had 10 clicks. I spent $2.63 on ads. So if that gives you an idea about things, you need 1,000 views. You're going to get around 10 clicks, as long as you got good product photos. to entice people to click on this, yeah, you're going to spend $3 a day. And so, you got to have a product that definitely, I think $39.99. I think I would go with that. I mean, could you do it for $29.99? If at a $10 cost of goods, you're flat. You're breaking even. Especially if you're running ads. If you don't run ads and you go organic and somehow you get traction, people do find stuff organically on Etsy. You could go with $30. You could try it. $35, $34.99. $39.99, $34.99. You could try $34.99, I guess, if you're trying to be more aggressive with the price. But again, the offers come in, right? If somebody favorites your item, you want to give them an offer to finish the sale. And so you got to knock your price down by 10%, give them a 10% discount, a 15% discount. Now you're lowering the price even more. So if you start high, you can at least give them a, 15% discount on what, $4, $5, something like that. Now you're down to 35, right? So it's kind of tricky. Business is tricky, right? It's never easy, especially with consumers. I was thinking of doing a plaque, yes, but I think I'd need a bigger border. Yeah, and you don't want to increase your material, right? I'm trying to think. You know what you could do is, instead of a plaque, customized plaque, what if you could do kind of like a different theme for the frame, right? Like maybe you could do just a splash of a vinyl record printed with a different color, or a splash of a music note, or a Les Paul guitar, that kind of thing. That could be something customized for a frame, or a different part of the record player, right? Like the stylus or the arm, or that could be some things that could be customizable. The user could pick something to customize the frame with, right? Rock and roll, 1980s, whatever, you get the gist, like whatever they're into. I don't know what colors you're offering, but that could be also part of it too. Yeah, the plaque is hard because you got such a small border on it. Yeah, I get that. You'll figure it out. Keep thinking of stuff. That's the way to do it. Total measurements are 327 wide, 220 high. Yeah, an 18 millimeter depth. 18. Let me think about that. Yeah, 18's pretty decent. As a complete build. Are you? What do you have? An H2 series? You're doing this on one build plate, like an H2S or an H2D. Will those have 340 millimeter? You're able to do that, or are you printing two parts and putting them together? I don't think you are. Didn't look like it. And that's for a 7-inch vinyl, right? Yeah. Can you imagine the 12-inch? You go with the 12-inch, you're going to need to put those parts together like this. This works pretty good, honestly. I'm very happy with how this turned out. Just focus on it, man. If you get it dialed in right, you can get this stuff to stick together and just super glue it to get two parts to be bigger for your 12-inch. Again, if the 7-inch sells. Make the 12-inch anyways. Just do it. You only live once. And if you're passionate about it and you think other people would like this for the 12-inch, hey, go for it, Especially because all these vinyl records have really intricate, cool designs on them, and you might want to showcase it. Another thing too, does that hang? Can you hang that on the wall? Or does it just stand? Does it have like the little picture hanger thing on the back? Could be a good idea for you too. Kind of like here, one sec. Let me see if I have it here. I can probably show this. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, never mind. You know what I'm talking about. It's just the little picture hanger on the back of a frame. You could print that into that unit as well. Oh, you're using an A2L, which is just a 256. So it's 2 parts, right? I tried designing a 12, but couldn't find a way to connect them. Well, dude, watch my video this Sunday, and this is how you connect them right here. You see the little stringies, but who cares about that? You see there? It's just a T. You make the male connector, T male connector, and then the female, okay? And what you do is the male is going to be smaller than the female, okay? This male part, you connect it to the side of your component, right? And then take this component and increase it by 1 millimeter and take that out on the female side, and it should slide through. And you might have to make a few test prints here and there, but you'll get it dialed in. And when you do, you slide them together, add a little super glue on the seam if you need to where they'll never come apart unless you break it. And there you go. You got it, man. I didn't think I could do this, but I'm going to use it. I think I will sell this eventually someday. But I might even add it to my wall plates if I feel like remodeling them for a 6th time. Because right now I'm using screws. But I think this would work. It definitely would require some super glue though. So the A1L is the newer bed slinger. Yeah. With the large print bed. What is it? Let me see. Okay. So yes, I do have those already on it on the back. Oh yeah. For the frame. You're saying to hang it on a wall. Yeah. You need those for sure. I think that's cool. But yeah, try this technique with the male and female connector, just slide kind of thing. The A2L, I can't remember if the A2L is A2L bamboo. This is 256, right? Oh no, it's bigger. You're right. Okay. It's 330 by 320 by 325. Cool. I didn't even realize that. I thought it was 256. I totally forgot about that. I did see it. Sorry, I got to get my charger. I did see it come out, but I didn't really look at the details. That's awesome, man, that works for you. Single print. That's great. Yeah. All right. So here's your challenge, Pele. Is once you dial in your 7-inch, you're done with it. You got to get the 12-inch, and I'll share it on the live stream, man. I might even get one because I've got a bunch of vinyl upstairs. We got to support each other. So let us know when you get the 12-inch. I don't have any 7-inchers, like I said. I've only got the Empire Strikes Back, these little vinyl record read-alongs that I had as a kid. That's the only 7-inch vinyl that I have. So that's awesome, man. Cool. Well, it's getting pretty late. I probably should get going. It is 12 o'clock midnight my time. We've been on here for like a nice hour and a half. Pretty good amount of time. Had a lot of fun, learned a lot. I've got a new couple things to look into, which is always good. And I appreciate everyone being here. Yeah. I'll be looking forward to your video. Yeah. I mean, obviously I showed you kind of what I did. This one was probably better, the live stream. But yeah, it's just, again, simply, it's just a T, man, straight up this, and it just slides right in, man. That's all you got to do. Just model it out, a couple millimeters here and there. And I think you'll figure it out. But yeah, I've got the video coming out Sunday, and yeah, I'll probably try to record something else too I try to do Sundays and Tuesdays. Those are my goals for each week. So try to stay consistent. Sometimes I do miss the second video if I get busy, or like last week I was on vacation, so I just didn't have time to record a second video, but I try my best. So anyways, you guys have a great night, and I'll try to catch up with you guys next week. If not next week, it'll be the week after. And, yeah, you guys have a great week. And, yeah, have a good night. Have a good weekend too. Later.